Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm doing a brand video. I've not done one in a really long time. I kept mentioning this one, just never did get around to doing it and decided today's the day. I'm going to be making a video on, I guess it's like 4 children's clothing stores that do put out Plush. A lot of the Plush that they put out is going to be bread and butter. I did pick some that are like $15 to $20 and then stuff that's higher. But I went ahead and I chose The Children's Place, Gymboree, Old Navy, and Gap. I find Old Navy and Gap on occasion. Gymboree once in a while, and I don't know if I've ever listed anything that was The Children's Place, but somebody had mentioned that store, so I thought I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in. There's not a lot to share with you from each of them, but it is something worth, if you come across them, at least go ahead and check them out. I like picking them up. It's really nice quality. A lot of times they sell pretty good for me. As far as just quickness, because once that Plush is released for a year, a lot of times the next year it's something different or a variation on that. So a lot of times parents are looking for a very specific one. But there's some nice sales also to share with you guys. So I thought, let's just go ahead and do those 4. If you've not watched any of my brand videos before, all of these are going to be from eBay. It's the one that I just find the easiest to do research and find, information on. So, I'll type in something like, Baby Gap Plush. And then what I do is I filter by used, because that's what we're going to find in thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales. Every once in a while you might find something that you would consider new. Even when I find stuff with tags, I do not list them as new. So, that's what we're going to be finding. We're also going to sort by solds. Filter. We're also going to filter by solds. And then we're going to sort highest to lowest. And that's how these screens are going to progress. And there's a little, mixing up as far as the prices, just because some of these are free shipping and then some are not. So I'm going to start with The Children's Place. And then we'll just move through each of them. Starting with The Children's Place, this is a lovey that I found, white and blue, and it sold for $17.50. Y'all know I pick up a lot of loveys. A lot of them are bread and butter, but this would be a good one to be keeping your eye out for. $17 for a lovey is pretty good. And then there's this 10-inch penguin. There were several variations, like I said, on this one. This particular one probably was one of the higher priced ones, which is why I picked it, and it sold for $19.96. Next, The Children's Place Bunny Rabbit. This one was a 12-inch plush. Kind of looks like a lot of other plush, so you're going to have to look at the tags to figure out who, of course, the brand is. I'm trying to see. Oh, this one said Made with Love. And then there. I used to do a lot of shopping at the outlet malls when my kids were little, and Children's Place was one of the ones I liked to go into. So that's what their tag looks like. And this rabbit sold for $19.98. And then this was a little lime green teddy bear, 12 inches tall, and it sold for $24.99. I talk about finding stuff that are the hot colors or, odd colors. A lot of times those do better for me than like that plush if it would have been brown or white or something like that. Now, a few blankets showed up in this search, so I'm just going to go ahead and share it just to open up your mind to be going to, look at baby blankets to see who the manufacturers are. This one was Children's Place still. It was a bear on a cloud blanket, and it sold for $34.19. For a long time, I picked up a lot of baby blankets, and then I just kind of got burnt out on them. They don't move as quickly as I had hoped, but I'm starting to pick them up again. you know, if they're higher dollar and they have a good sell-through rate, just so I don't have that stock that just kind of keeps piling up and not moving. And then this Children's Place monkey with the ice cream cone sold for $39.99. And I think there might be one more. Yes. And there was a whole series of these monkeys. Some were boys, some were girls. This was the highest priced one that I found. It is just knit, and it sold for $40.48. All right, the next, starting back down at the lower priced ones I wanted to share with you. This is Gymboree. I actually found a series of like 3 of these checkered plush. I think mine are all listed in a lot. But this was a red and blue dog plush. It sold for $19. These are pretty small, 4.5 inches. And then I have found some of the like purses that are plush over the years. Not very often. Definitely one to be checking out for. This was shaped like a deer, had the little pink handles on it, and it sold for $24.95. It was free shipping, so, you know, take that into consideration on the price. This was a little puppy dog plush from 2008. You can tell the size. It's probably about 4 or 5 inches in this person's hand, and it sold for $19.99. That would be something that I would definitely pick up. It's just very cute. And then this was another lovey. This one was like a tiger with a safari background, and it sold for $22.99. This was a cute little bunny rabbit from 2003, sold for $27.97. There are several clowns. This is a smaller version. It's 18 inches. I'm pretty sure I have found this at some point. This one sold for $22.99. I'm pretty sure I sold one like in the last year. I'm not quite sure if it was that size. There's also a puppet. It sold for a little bit less, so it didn't make it into the cut. But this clown is like synonymous to Gap, so you'll see it in lots of different plush sizes and variations. This was an velour 2003 giraffe plush. It says it's 19 inches. It seems like it's probably like floppy with long legs. It too sold for $24.99. All right, this was a kangaroo mama and baby Joey plush from 2004, $24.99. This is a, it looks like a little like plush coin purse. Look at the little thing on the top. It almost looked like a crown at first. It is 8 inches tall. It's from a Woodland Wonder series, and it sold for $22.79. I think that's Woodland Wonder, not Wander. All right, I think there's a cat and then there's a dog. This is the little gray cat. Look, only 2 pictures. Still sold for $38.99. And then this was a bear lovey. I think I saw another one that was like a darker brown maybe. This particular one sold for $38.99. Another blanket that I was going to share with you. This one, white stripe, lovey, with, I guess it looks almost like coral coloring to it. If you notice, it probably has a satin edge around the end. Anytime you find a baby blanket with the satin trim, definitely check comps. A lot of the loveys also tend to do well when they have that satin trim. This particular blanket sold for $39.99. This was another little cat plush. Says it had orange spots, 7 inch, sold for $39.99. This was a different clown. It says it's 36 inches. It looks like it said it had straps on the feet, so I think a child could strap it to their feet and then pretend they're dancing with it. It was from 1987. It sold for $28.70. The shipping is really up there on that, so $39. So it must be pretty bulky. And then this was the larger of that Jimbo clown plush. This one is 36 inches and it sold for $49.99. All right, I think we're moving on to the next one, which would be Old Navy. I find Old Navy quite often. There's a lot of dogs and cats and stuff like that. This little dog was from 2002. To me, it looks like it has a lot of wear, but sometimes, you know, a desperate parent is still going to pick it up. It sold for $18. This is Old Navy. A lot of them put ONSCO. It must stand for Old Navy something company. This was a 26-inch long-legged monkey, and it sold for $18.99. This is a Mouse Lovey plush. For some reason, this seems familiar. Like I may have had this before at some point. It sold for $20. A corduroy hot pink elephant, 17 inches from 2009, sold for $29.99. Old Navy Rottweiler dog, 7-inch from 2006, sold for $25.99. So not very big, y'all. All right, this was a long-legged calico cat. Let's see, what was the year? 2007, sold for $25.19. I think this is one of the first examples I wanted to also remind you that, you know, I pulled this screen up from the sold comps. I always go back to Terapeak to confirm the price, and this price actually was a little bit less than what was showing on the sold comps themselves. So, you know, be mindful that just because something says it's sold for a certain amount, go check Terapeak just to make sure. So this one sold for $25.19. There's several of them in this. This was a long nose puppy dog plush. There were quite a few of these that had sold right about the same price, $24.99. All right, this was, again, this long-legged plush. This was a frog, sold for $35. And then I've had, I think, this plush at some point. It is a 9-inch teddy bear, sold for $42.46. Trying to see what kind of tag it had. So they'll look like this. There's a couple of different versions of the Old Navy tags. And then this was the best one of the Old Navy plush that sold. 9-inch gorilla plush from 2006. Sold for $79.99. All right, and then last but not least is Baby Gap. All right, I find this plush on occasion. I've probably sold 3 or 4 of them. His name is Brannon. He is a shaggy little curly furred bear. This particular one has a rattle in it. There's some larger of these bears. Again, this is the 6-inch size, and it sold for $17.93. And then this little Baby Gap duck plush with sounds sold for $18. All right, this says Punky Baby Gap Kitty Pink. Here's what its tag was looking like. And it sold for $18.99. This was a doll plush from Baby Gap. This particular one sold for $17.89. All right, this was from the Gap Factory. I think, yeah, it says his name is Scruffy. I think I've recently either listed one or sold one, and it had the hoodie on also. This one sold for $19.95. This was a cute little purple bunny rabbit from 2002. Had the stitching around the ears and feet. Sold for $22.99. All right, this is a 9-inch bunny rabbit. Right there's what that tag looked like. It sold for $26.99. Another example of a blanket. Again, kind of looks like it has the satin trim on it. It's Baby Gap Luxury Blue, and it sold for $30. This plush, it looks knit, almost feels like a sweater on it. This particular one says it plays a lullaby, and it sold for $20.99. Baby Gap Monkey from 2011 sold for $27.67. This was mine that sold recently. It is the Baby Gap Brown Bear 14-inch, and it sold for $31.45. A Brannon Bear Lovey sold for $39.56. Cute little Gaposaurus Corduroy Dinosaur 8-inch sold for $39.92. This says his name is Hopper, and he makes the boing sound. Bunny rabbit sold for $45. It's only 7 inches tall. All right, these next couple, I think, are this same rabbit, but in different colors. Definitely one to be looking for. I guess his name is Hopper. It says, I belong to Patch on it somewhere. I think there's a heart or something. This green one sold for $65. And then this pink one sold on an auction for $100. So definitely one of the ones to be looking for. Again, knit. And then I think the best one that I saw when I was looking these up is actually a Baby Gap blanket. I'm just going to go ahead and share it because it was better even than that plush. It was this Baby Gap thick plush blanket. Now, it said in the comps that it sold for $90, but when I went to Terapeak, it actually said it sold for $108.90 with $48 shipping. So I do believe that this is probably an eBay international sale. If you're not in that program, I highly encourage you to, because, you know, I get lots of sales to international buyers. And, you know, once it gets to the hub, we're done with it. If there's an issue with the package or there's an issue with the item, eBay takes care of it. And usually they are the ones that refund the buyer. I've had a couple of instances where things didn't pass customs and eBay just kept my item and refunded the buyer for me. It's an excellent program and pretty much not too many issues with it at all. So, you know, you have to be careful with not listing stuff that shouldn't be shipped international, but other than that, I've not had any problems. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I need to get back to doing those videos more often, especially now that we're, you know, starting to hitting yard sales. It'll give you more ideas of stuff to look for. Please go back and look at some of my other ones. I've done Build-A-Bear. I've forgotten. I've done so many. Russ, Applause, Fisher Price. I think Fisher Price ended up being several videos because, you know, I love Fisher Price. But I need to get back into doing these more often because I enjoy them, and it's also reminding me of things to be looking for when I'm out and about. Like I'm getting ready to go do a sourcing trip to St. Louis. So, you know, hopefully maybe I can find, you know, some of these higher dollar plush there and just instantly, you know, I need to pick them up. All right, y'all. It's time to get to work. Bye.